This video is an instructional tool owned by the Division of Negros Oriental. The division acknowledges the intellectual property rights of the owner of the pictures, illustrations, music, and other similar materials used. This video is made to address the need of grade 11 learners of Negros Oriental, especially in this time of pandemic.
Hello there! How are you? That's great! Welcome to another learning session in General Mathematics. I am Teacher Therese and I'm so glad to have you with me. Today, we're going to discuss how to solve rational equations and inequalities. Before we start our new lesson, let us check if you still remember your previous lesson on solving linear equations and inequalities.
Let's have the first example. 2x plus 4 is equal to 10. Let's have this solution. Given the equation 2x plus 4 is equal to 10, then you combine like terms by moving the variables to the left side, while the constants to the right side, and change its sign. So that will show you 2x is equal to 10 minus 4. Then you simplify. That will give you 2x is equal to 6. Then, you divide both sides by 2 to eliminate 2 to remain the variable x. So the value of your x is 3. So that's your final answer. Second example. 2x plus 5 is greater than 12. Let's have this solution. 2x plus 5 is greater than 12. So you combine like terms, 2x is greater than 12 minus 5. Then you simplify. 2x is greater than 7. Next, you divide both sides by 2 to eliminate 2 to remain the variable x. And dividing 7 by 2 will give you 3 and 1/2. So x is greater than 3 and 1/2. And that is your final answer. Third example. X plus 2 is less than 2x plus 4. X plus 2 is less than 2x plus 4. So you combine like terms, and that will show you x minus 2x is less than 4 minus 2. And then you simplify. Negative x is less than 2. To eliminate the negative sign, you need to divide both sides by negative 1. But remember, dividing both sides by a negative number will change its inequality symbol. So this becomes x is greater than negative 2. And that's your final answer.
Very good! I believe that you are now ready with our lesson. Let's go!
These are the steps in solving rational equation. First, eliminate denominators by multiplying each term of the equation by the least common multiple of all the denominator. Another way of solving rational equation is using cross multiplication. Next, note that eliminating denominators may introduce extraneous solution. Check the solutions of the transformed equations with the original equation. Then, in solving rational equations, it is necessary to consider that the denominator must not be equal to 0. So, avoid any value of variables that will make the denominator equal to 0. Let's have this example. Solve for x in 2 over x minus 3 over 2x is equal to 1 over 5. To start with our solution, we need to find the least common multiple of all the denominators of the equation. Given from the original equation, the LCM of all denominators is 10x. Multiply both sides by the equation by 10x and solve the resulting equation. And this shows 10x times the quantity 2 over x minus 10x times the quantity 3 over 2x is equal to 10x times the quantity 1 over 5. Then you simplify, and that will give you 20x over x is equal to 20, 30x over 2x, that will give you 15, and 10x over 5, that will give you 2x. And this shows 2x is equal to 20 minus 15. Then you simplify, and that will give you 2x is equal to 5. So the value of x is 5 over 2. And that's your final answer. To check if our solution is on the right path, let's do the checking process. Using the original equation, substitute the value of x. So this shows 2 all over 5 over 2 minus 3 all over 2 times the quantity 5 over 2 is equal to 1 over 5. By simplifying, perform the operations and fractions. Then, 2 times the quantity 2 over 5 minus 3 over 5 is equal to 1 over 5. Simplifying further, that will give you 4 over 5 minus 3 over 5 is equal to 1 over 5. And that will lead you to 1 over 5 is equal to 1 over 5. So that shows your answer is correct. Another way of solving rational equation is using cross multiplication. Let's have this example. Solve for x in 1 all over 2x plus 5 is equal to 3 all over x plus 5. Solution. Given the equation 1 all over 2x plus 5 is equal to 3 all over x plus 5, you apply cross multiplication. And that will show you 1 times the quantity x plus 5 is equal to 3 times the quantity 2x plus 5. Then use distributive property. So 1 times x is x. 1 times 5 is 5. 3 times 2x is 6x. And 3 times 5 is 15. Before you simplify, you need to combine similar terms. That will show you 5 minus 15 is equal to 6x minus x. 5 minus 15 is negative 10. And 6x minus x is equal to 5x. You need to divide both sides by 5. And there you go, the value of your x, which is negative 2. And that's your final answer. And now, let's do the checking. Substitute the value of x to the original equation. Given the equation 1 all over 2x plus 5 is equal to 3 all over x plus 5. Next, let's do the substitution. So 1 all over 2 times the quantity negative 2 plus 5 is equal to 3 all over negative 2 plus 5. And then we perform the operations and fractions. So 2 times the quantity negative 2 will give you negative 4, and then negative 2 plus 5 is equal to 3. So 1 all over negative 4 plus 5 is equal to 3 over 3. And then we simplify. So that will give you 1 over 1 is equal to 3 over 3. So 1 over 1 is equal to 1, and 3 over 3 is equal to 1, meaning the value of your x is correct. And that's your final answer.
Hey there! How are you? That's cool! Let's continue!
These are the steps for solving rational inequalities. Step 1. Rewrite the inequality as a single fraction on one side of the inequality symbol and 0 on the other side. Step 2. Determine the x values or critical values for which the rational expression is equal to 0 or undefined. Factoring the numerator and denominator is a useful strategy. Step 3. Draw a number line and mark the critical values on a number line with hollow circles. These critical values divide the real number lines into intervals. Step 4. Make a table and test point. Select a test point within the interior of each interval in step 3. Step 5. Write the interval solutions and mark it on the number line. Use a shaded circle to indicate that the value is included in the solution set, and a hollow circle to indicate that the value is excluded. Let's have the inequality example. 2x all over x plus 1 is greater than or equal to 1. Solution. Rewrite the inequality as a single rational fraction on one side and 0 on the other side. So that shows 2x all over x plus 1 minus 1 is greater than or equal to 0. Then, we identify x plus 1 as the least common denominator for this inequality. We combine the terms in the numerator over the denominator. Then, we simplify the terms in the numerator. This will show us 2x minus the quantity x plus 1 all over x plus 1 is greater than or equal to 0. Then, the simplified form of the inequality in order to determine the x value or critical value will show you x minus 1 all over x plus 1 is greater than or equal to 0. Next, determine the x values or critical values for which the rational expression is equal to 0 or undefined. So x equal to 1 will make the rational expression equal to 0, and x equal to negative 1 will make the rational expression undefined. So your critical value shows x equal to 1 and x is equal to negative 1. Next, draw a number line and mark the critical values on the number line with hollow circles. This is your guide. Next, make a table and test point. Select a test point within the interior of each interval in step 3. These are your test value. Sine of x minus 1, sine of x plus 1, sine of x minus 1 all over x plus 1. And these are your test point. Negative 2, 0, and positive 2. Let's start with negative 2. Negative 2 minus 1 is equal to negative 3. So your sign is negative. Next, negative 2 plus 1 is equal to negative 1. So your sign is negative. Next, negative 3 over negative 1 will give you positive 3. So your sign is positive. Next column, x is equal to 0. So 0 minus 1 is equal to negative 1. So your sign is negative. 0 plus 1 will give you positive 1. So your sign is positive. Next, negative 1 over 1 is equal to negative 1. So your sign is negative. Next column, x is equal to 2. So 2 minus 1 is equal to 1. So your sign is positive. Next, 2 plus 1 is equal to 3. So your sign is positive. Next, 1 over 3 will give you 1 over 3. So your sign is positive. If the sign in x minus 1 all over x plus 1 is positive, then it is true. And if the sign is negative, then it is false. Meaning, the solution set for x, negative infinity to negative 1, union 1 to infinity.
Well done! Now let's try to check what you have learned. Take the challenge by answering these problems. You're given 4 minutes to do it. Timer starts now. Well done! That was impressive. Give yourself a round of applause. Thank you so much for actively participating in our discussion. Again, this is Teacher Therese saying, ang batang alerto sa numero, ganado!